Hello everyone, Lisa here. Welcome to What's Crafting Wednesday. Tonight I have a blue card for you. Not because it's sad, but just because I went with shades of blue. And I'm wearing blue, and I even brought out some blue grid paper. And I left a piece of hair there. So let's get started first with our drawing from last week. I showed this tip on how to keep your ribbon spools from flying all over the place. This was my sample, and then this was the one I made live last week, and I am drawing for the spool of ribbon tonight. So let me get my names in here, and we'll shake them up a bit. And this is Granny Apple Green, and this was a new spool of ribbon that I opened last week for Facebook Live. So even though it doesn't have the wrapper on it, it is a new spool of ribbon. So let me choose our lucky commenter here, and I have a ticket, and it is Wendy. Well, congratulations, Wendy. You are the lucky winner of a spool of Granny Apple Green ribbon. Okay, so tonight we are using shades of blue. We're making this, I think, super cute card. I went with blue. The lobsters aren't blue, but they can be any color when you're crafting. But I thought blue because it could be a masculine card, though of course it could be feminine as well. But I made the crabs, I think 2 weeks back in Calypso Coral, I believe it was, and Flirty Flamingo. So that was more feminine. So I thought this week we'd go a little more masculine. Using the Ocean Friends stamp set and coordinating dies. And these just went on the last chance list yesterday. I'm kind of sad about that. Maybe that is why I picked blue for tonight, because I really like this set and I didn't get to play with it that much. So this is on the last chance list. And I chose the Sentiment from Beautiful Butterflies, and I believe this is on the last chance list, but I'm not 100% certain on that. Didn't have time to study everything yet. Okay, so let's get started. I have my card pack here, and put our envelope off to the side using a boho blue for the card base, and this is an in color that is retiring the beginning of May. So our 2023 to 2025 in colors will be retiring. Oh, and this is 4 1/4 by 11, and we will score it at 5 1/2. And give it a nice crease. And then for the inside of the card, I have a piece of basic white, a 4 by 5 1/4. And matte layer the front of the card, I have Misty Moonlight, which is 4 by 5 1/4. And then to layer on that, I have basic white, that is 3 3/4 by 5. And from the Timeless Plaid DSP, we're using a strip for the front and for the inside. And they're about 1 1/8, just because I didn't want to cut into any of the squares. One is 4 inches across for the inside, and the other is 3 3/4 for the front. I have already pre-die cut the seagrass, and I have a strip of basic white here for the Sentiment, and it's about 3/4 wide. And I just realized I don't have a piece of basic white here for the lobsters. Let me quickly grab that. I will be right back. Quickly grab it in my mess here. Where is my basic white? Oh, here it is. Practically in front of me. Okay, I'm back. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to silence my phone. We will be using Boho Blue ink, which is retiring. Misty Moonlight and Old Olive, they are both part of our core colors in the annual catalog. Embellishing is the Jute Trim, which is retiring. And the Tinsel Gems, the 4-pack Tinsel Gems, those are on the last chance list as well. And let's get started. Put that off. So first, we're just going to adhere this little strip of DSP to the front. Make sure I have it on straight. I do. And now we will stamp the lobsters. And this is a 2-step stamp. So first we're going to stamp the base of the lobster in Boho Blue, but I am going to stamp off so he's not as dark, because then we're going to overlay with Misty Moonlight. So let me just ink this guy up here. That looks good. And I'm going to stamp off. And I'm going to stamp on there. And then ink them up again because we're using 2 lobsters. Stamp off. Okay. And now I need to clean the stamp because I didn't have another large block handy, so I have to switch the stamp on here and put the overlay on. Going to take him off there and then add the overlay, and this is going to be in Misty Moonlight. And let me just bring this over here, and I need to re-ink my Misty Moonlight. That looks good. All right, I may get my head in here. I just want to make sure I line this up good. Okay, 1 lobster down. And let's get the second one done. Line him up. Okay. And I'm just going to trim around here so that we can die cut. And I have my mini here. And today, keeping with tonight's theme, I brought out my Boho Blue Mini. And this is still available, and I did see that it is on limited quantity, so it is low in quantity. Just pull out my lobster die here. This is the full set of the Ocean Friends dies. I don't remember the last time I used my Boho Blue machine. I always pull out the white one. Let's get this lined up good. The plates are a little warped. I should take new ones out. And away we go. Okay. lobster down. And let's get our next one ready here. So let me know in the comments who has the mini stamp and emboss machine. I know I've told you before, I just think this is so useful and so convenient to have. Just having it sit right here instead of having to jump up and use the large machine. Okay, and now we have our second lobster. Okay, and what I did with this, I just cut this in half, and I put a piece behind each lobster. So this one here is, I kind of just intertwined it a little bit, just like it would be out in nature. And then this one here as well. And just play with it a little bit until you're happy with the way it looks. It looks fine. Then you want to add a little bit of glue behind it so that it stays put. Raise that up a little bit. Okay. Just add a couple little dots of glue so it stays adhered. And then we're going to put a little glue on the front so it stays down. And now the same with the other one. And then eventually when we put this together, we'll be using dimensionals, so it will hold it together good then. This is just to hold it together while we're working with it. And I'm just going to put a little dab here in the front. That was a little more than a dab. Just going to wipe some of that excess glue off there. Okay, so while that dries, we can put the front of the card together. So we're going to layer the basic white piece onto the Misty Moonlight. And then we'll layer this to the front of the card. I think the shades of blue look very pretty together. Now we have to add a few dimensionals to our lobsters. Just a few dimensionals, right? Okay, so let's space these on here, see how we want them to look. Okay, so this one we'll put down first because the second one, we're not going to put the dimensionals up on his claws. We're going to put a little glue so he adheres to this one. You'll see what I mean as I do it. So has anyone crafted this last week? If you have, let me know what you made. Better yet, send me some pictures of it so I can include it in my Share What You Stamp. Put some of these little ones down here. You know, I keep trying to go a little easier with my dimensionals, but, you know, it just doesn't work. I always end up having to add more. Oh, what happened? Stuck to my finger. All right, and then this other piece I'm going to put there, and then I think I can get a big one over there. All right, that looks pretty good. So let me take all these backings off. So does anyone picture me using less dimensionals? I know, I actually don't picture it myself. I don't know, I just can't get over that fear of my cards not holding. And especially with dimensionals, I don't like when they sag in the middle if you don't have enough. Okay, I'm going to put one more over here. Maybe I can go with a mini in there. Just looked a little bare right there. All right, so we'll just put him there. And now the second one, we're going to put glue there because that will overlap this one. So we just want to put the dimensionals across the rest of the lobster, but not on the top. And actually, when I was making my sample, I forgot that, and I was then peeling dimensionals off the back of the card. I think I can put one there. Okay. And now we'll get some minis. You're probably saying, if you didn't use so many dimensionals, the videos would go a lot quicker. Well, I guess you're right. But wouldn't you want to spend all this time with me? Okay, now, backing's off. So I look forward to hearing about what you have crafted this last week and hopefully seeing what you have crafted. I am getting caught up on my Share What You Stamp posts, and that will be coming out shortly. All right, so now just a little bit of glue up here. It's a stray backing. Okay, so now you can see what I meant by not putting the dimensionals up here because the bottom lobster's already popped up. And then we have our sentiment to stamp. And I know I have, oh, here it is. Okay, funny story. When I made my sample, I thought I was using the Happy Labels punch, which was just one of the free offers with Celebration, but it is in the catalog. But I actually used a retired punch. So the sample will be slightly different than the card we're making now because I used the wrong punch. So with this punch, it makes two different edges on the end of your tag that you're making, on the end of your strip. One's kind of like a ticket, and the other's just a little, I don't know, we'll call it some little squigglies. Maybe it's a smaller ticket, I don't know. So put this in and just punch down, and then you get that nice edge on the end there. And we're just going to stamp hello. I kept it as, you know, pretty generic sentiment, so you can use the card for anything that you like. It can be a birthday, congratulations, Father's Day, you know, it could be for anything. So if you just put hello on the front, you can always add any sentiment that you'd like on the inside. All right, so I'm going to stamp this right towards the edge here. And then we're just going to trim it down. also go on the front of the card with dimensionals, but I'm going to put just a little bit of this jute trim underneath it. If I can get the baggie open here. Okay. And I didn't measure it, I just unrolled a little bit and cut it. I have no idea what I used, probably, I don't know, maybe it's 6 inches, I don't know, but I'm just going to cut it again, and we'll see how it goes. And I adhered it down with a glue dot. And I really just folded it in half and stuck it on the glue dot. And then if you want, after it's down, to position it a little differently, just take another glue dot. And let me see if I can get that to stay over that way a little bit more. Pretty much has a mind of its own. And, oh, I did sponge this also. Very lightly, I took a sponge dauber and the Misty Moonlight ink, and I just went around it. Just gives a little definition to the sentiment and kind of pops a little more on the card. And do I not have any more large dimensionals in front of me? Okay, then let me cut some strips from here. Put one on each end, and I am not putting one in the middle because the jute already is, raised up. So I'm going to put a glue dot in the middle, so that will adhere to the jute trim in the center. Just going to put that in the middle there. And I'm going to try another glue dot on this jute trim to see if I can get that to stay in that position a little bit. A little better. And so the straight edge, I'm going to butt against the end of the DSP. And then we have the pretty decorative edge on that side. And now we have the inside of the card. Very simple. I just took the strip of DSP, adhered it on the bottom. Again, that way the card can be used for any occasion. You could, whoever the lucky winner is next week, could add any sentiment they want, but you don't even need to add a sentiment. You could always just leave the card blank inside and have plenty of room for writing. Just center that. And then a couple of embellishments on the front. So I used 2 large ones. Oh, runaway embellishment. I used 2 large ones on the side of the card here. And then I used a small one on the end of the sentiment. And all we have left is the envelope. I use the seagrass and the old olive ink, and I stamped that just on the bottom corner there. And then in boho blue, I stamped some of these little bubbles. And that, my crafty friends, is this week's card. And here is my sample with my mistaken punch. And then here is the one that we just made. Okay, everyone, so leave me some love. Let me know what you think about tonight's card, the colors I used, the bundle I used, which, remember, is on the last chance list. So if this is something you want, get it while you can before it's gone. New catalog coming out May 6th, I think. My catalogs are on order, so if you've placed an order with me since September through now, you will be receiving a new catalog. If you're not on my list for a catalog and you'd like to receive one, send me a text, an email, a private message. Let me know you'd like a catalog. Oh, one other thing. Next week, Facebook Live will be Thursday, not Wednesday. So just giving you a little heads up on that, so it's not a last minute notice for you. Okay, everyone. Well, thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed tonight's card. I had a lot of fun making it, and I think it's super cute. All right, everyone, have a wonderful crafty week, and I will see you next Thursday, 7 o'clock. Don't know yet what we're going to make, but whatever it is, I hope that you're going to like it. Okay, everyone. Bye.